Hey y'all, Chris here again from Frontsite. I want to take a second and talk about the four cardinal rules of firearm safety. And then I'm going to use those to talk about the four cardinal rules of Frontsite. So the four cardinal rules of firearm safety are specifically related to what you can and cannot or should and should not do regarding a firearm. So the first cardinal rule of firearm safety is treat every weapon as if it's loaded. What that basically means is you take every weapon, and even if you know it's unloaded, you treat it as if it was. You give it that same respect as if you were carrying that weapon as if it were loaded. You do it all the time. Because if you do that, you're less likely to horseplay or do something stupid with it most of the time. That's a good rule to start with. The second rule is don't point your weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot. It should be pretty simple, right? I've seen videos all the time of people pointing their gun at their phones, or maybe their friend is holding the phone and they're pointing the weapon at their friend, and they accidentally shoot somebody. Well, if you weren't pointing your gun at that person, it wouldn't have happened, right? And at least if you weren't pointing your gun at a person and you press the trigger, the round is not going to hit anybody, and it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal you had a negligent discharge, but at least nobody gets hurt. The third cardinal rule of firearm safety is keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Now, off the trigger doesn't just mean out of the trigger guard and off the trigger, right? It does mean off the trigger completely, like take it off, because if you're walking around with your finger on the trigger, and again, those videos, you see people pointing their firearm at people, they're pointing their gun at people, and they get their finger in the trigger guard on the trigger. They make a quick movement, their support side hand does something like squeezes, that sympathetic response causes your strong hand that's holding the gun to press the trigger. Bad day for anybody around you. But again, it doesn't just mean keep your finger outside the trigger guard. Typically what we talk about when we talk about trigger discipline is keeping your finger high up on the slide, so that way if you do have a sympathetic response where you squeeze one hand, your other hand, the finger doesn't go into the trigger guard and accidentally push the trigger. That's what we mean by finger off the trigger. And again, if you're treating every weapon as if it's loaded, and you're not pointing it at anything you don't intend to shoot, and you keep your finger off the trigger, 99.9% of the time, the gun is not going to go off and hurt somebody. The fourth and final cardinal rule of firearm safety is know your target and what lies beyond it, and really what lies around it. Which means if you're shooting at a range and you're shooting at a paper target, typically you have a dirt berm or some type of berm or backstop behind it. And what that does is it's designed to stop the bullet from going any further. But let's say you're out on somebody's piece of property and you're shooting just paper targets, or you're shooting tin cans or glass bottles. You want to make sure that what's behind your target is not somebody's house or a playground or anything else. It needs to be completely open. You should have several hundred yards of space behind you, or a lot of trees or something to keep those bullets from going where they don't belong, right? The last thing you want to do is to shoot at a target and somebody who's off in the distance gets nicked. I've been to outdoor ranges that are public ranges, and I went down there and was putting down a target. And as I was putting down a target, somebody just a few rows over from me started shooting at their target. As I'm standing there putting a target in, not 8 or 9 feet from their target. Sorry, dude. I don't know how good of a shot you are. How about you hold off on that until I get back there next to you? Okay? The last thing I want to do is go home with a couple extra holes in me that I came there with. Appreciate it. So those are 4 cardinal rules of firearm safety. Now what we've done is we have taken that general idea and created 4 cardinal rules of Frontsite. Now, when you first get and download Frontsite, you're going to have to answer those, yes, I agree to the terms and conditions. Every app has to have those terms and conditions, just legal jargon saying you're not going to do anything dumb on the app, right? So what we did was we said, let's just break it down, because once you click I agree, you're going to be requested to agree to these 4 rules. And basically the 4 rules are, number 1, treat everyone with respect and dignity. We are not here to fight amongst ourselves, right? Be honest and transparent with everyone. So we're not here to fight. We're here to learn. We're here to educate, and we're here to make each other better. We need to raise each other up, not like most other social medias or anything out there that really brings people down, right? This firearm community is a really strong community when we're taking care of each other. And that's what we need to do. The second one, do not spread information that is incorrect or can get someone hurt. That should be simple. We're not looking to put information out that's bad tactics, bad training, anything like that. On our app, you will be able to rate companies or businesses that you visit or see. A lot of those businesses, if they get 5 stars, you're going to say why. If they get a 1 star, again, you're able to say why. And if those businesses don't get better based off that constructive criticism, then nobody's going to visit those businesses anymore. Self-correcting issue, right? So we're looking for people to rate those businesses, but also we're looking for those businesses to put out good information and a good product. The third one, the communities this app serves are unlike any other. Do not conduct yourself like you're on one of those other social media apps. And when in doubt, refer to rule number 1. Look, that's all we're looking for. Conduct yourself in a kind, professional manner. The firearms industry and the firearms community is a great community. I've been to many events where people are just friendly, courteous, kind. They'll talk to you. We all have a lot of the same interests at heart. And for the majority of the people there, we all believe in the same thing. Strong belief in the Second Amendment and that we should defend each other and lives at whatever cost. So, that being said, treat each other with respect, and when in doubt, refer to rule number 1. Our last rule, fourth and final rule, cardinal rule of Frontsite, is kind of like know your target as a backdrop, know your audience when you communicate. This is not an app designed to hurt people, but to build them up and to strengthen the firearm and outdoor communities. So like I said, at the end of the day, we're here to help each other. We're here to educate. We are here to spread a light and shed the light on people that may be fearful of firearms. They think that, oh my God, there's a gun. Guns are the problem. Guns are not the problem. People are always the problem. A gun is not going to just go off for no reason. And again, we're not going to go there, right? But a gun's not going to just go off without somebody pressing the trigger. 9 times out of 10. So, people are the problem. And the other half of that problem is uneducated people that don't know anything about firearms. Well, a lot of times they're the ones making the laws. Have you ever heard any of our senators or representatives up in DC talking about ghost guns, all these other, I can't even come up with the words that they use because they're that ridiculous, right? I think these automatic firearms are all over the place and people are dying left and right, and the scariest thing on the planet is an AR-15. I disagree. The scariest thing on the planet is people like that making laws that make it more difficult for people like you and me to keep ourselves and our family safe. So, get educated. Educate your neighbor. Educate your friends. Push this app out to people you may know that may not understand much about firearms. We're going to be partnering with so many different companies and organizations that are going to help us educate the public on firearms and firearm safety. Already, I'm in conversations with the NRA, NLFIA, and a few others. They're going to help us spread the word on how to keep you and your family safe. So do yourself a favor. Go to our website at www.frontsiteapp.com. When you're there, click Get Notified. Fill out the form. It's real quick. That way we'll notify you when the app comes out on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. When it's out, you can download it, put your stuff on there, and start the adventure. So, what's holding you up? Go to our website. Link will be down below. Also, if you want to see more content, we'll put more stuff out about questions I may receive or different types of firearms or anything like that. Click like, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you out there. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome to Frontsite.